So know that you will all be visible for everyone with the link. The link is not public available, so it won't come up in searches, but people with the link will see it. If you don't feel comfortable with that, then you can just switch off your camera. You are definitely allowed to do so. However, I do believe that all of you have lovely faces and that they are worth of being shown on the stream. It might actually be a wonderful promotion strategy for best. In the end, most valuable thing of best are the besties. Isn't it the case? That being said, let's see if I can start sharing some interesting materials. Hoppa!
Yay!
So,
You managed.
welcome everyone with us for a presentation on the Research and Development Working Group. A very new concept in BEST, but well, in my own personal opinion, a little bit biased, of course, one of the most interesting projects of this year. I am very glad to see all of you here. I'm also very glad that I have a wonderful person with me who will deliver this presentation together with me. So I'm Jasper Hotz, Vice President for Services of the International Board of BEST for this year. And with me is also Anna Redkina, Marketing Officer of this year.
Yes.
Let's start with the introduction to the R&D working group.
Yes. So welcome again, everyone. And your attendance of the session means not only that you're one of the most beautiful people here, as Jasper said before, but also that you're actually interested and you do care about the development of BEST and more specifically about the development and improvement of the services that we have in BEST. Or maybe you're just curious about what are we going to tell you today. So why did we decide to do it now? Why do we speak of it now? Like considering the current situation that we all are faced at the moment, we believe that now is the perfect time to, like for each organization to focus on the internal development processes. Even if you look a bit from the side to the goals that BEST has for this year, you might notice that we focus a lot on improving our services and as well as on introducing the new ones. And all of this is combined with our intentions to improve the general state of the whole organization. Speaking of this, we emphasize a lot one of our values, which is the flexibility. When someone comes to you and asks, why are you doing all of this? Why do you move your events to the online environment? You could just wait for better times to organize events again and just focus on something else at the moment. You may answer something like, well, we do it because we are flexible. And this is indeed the case. We are very flexible. However, after hearing this word for already quite some in BEST, some of you start asking, like, okay, flexibility is cool, but do we have something else to show? And here, we suggest you to focus on our another value, which is improvement. It's not that we just adapt our services to the new environment. We also aim to develop them, to make them more interesting both for us as organizers and both for the external world. But here, we would like you to focus not simply on the improvement, but on the reasonable improvement. What do I mean by reasonable improvement? It means that changes that we aim to implement in BEST should make sense both for you as providers of the services and for the stakeholders who can be the receivers or our collaborators. How can we do this? We can make sure, how can we make sure that everything we aim to do, that we would like to implement actually makes sense both for us and for our stakeholders and for people we work for? Well, basically what we can do is just ask. Ask all the parties involved the right questions. In marketing, we call this do research. The point of this is to get familiar with the desires of the users of our services and to get their own point of view on everything we do. Because how we see our services from the organizer's point of view and how people who receive these services see them those can be two completely different worlds.
The whole process starts with a thinking phase. A phase where you and other besties that are also interested in development or are working closely with certain services, you take the time to think together about the different improvements that could be possible. And that is really the very first step. Thinking, reflecting, trying to put this gray matter here to work.
Yes, and after you already finished the thinking process and you came up with several ideas on how, like from your own perspective, how you can improve something, what kind of change you can make in your organization, what kind of change you can implement for your services that you provide, you can actually suggest these ideas to the users of these services and also to some of the providers. And you can ask them if they agree with you. Would you like to do the same? Or what are their own ideas?
And once you've done that, once you've asked to others, to stakeholders, what they think of the ideas, it is time to analyze those ideas, to see whether there are trends, to see whether you have the support, to see whether people, but also companies and universities, whether they are interested to join these ideas and whether they see value in those new ideas.
After you make sure that they see value in your ideas or they have their own ones, you can make an additional analysis step in order to understand which one of them will benefit the most for your organization. So after that, you do this sort of selection. You just take the whole array of the ideas that you have by this moment and you try to select the best ones, the ones that will bring the biggest improvement for best for your organization, for everything you do, for your LBG. Maybe if you speak about like the local level of providing services, you make sure and you select the best of the best.
And once you've done so, it is time to implement those ideas. It is time to bring real change. It is the most rewarding phase, especially when you see all of those wonderful ideas coming reality.
And after that, the logical question is actually who is going to do that? When we already know all the process of making of a reasonable improvement, like we might start thinking, who is going to implement that? At this moment, you might think that we are already asking our stakeholders and our participants for feedback after almost every event. We actually do ask people to fill in some evaluation forms, and there are always people who are checking these evaluations. But if you think of it a bit longer, the main purpose of this action is not always to improve the service itself, but often to check if providers of this very service manage to organize events with at least the minimum required quality. Additionally, by asking for the evaluation on something that has already happened, we do not always provide our users with the possibility to participate in the process of innovation in BEST, so we do not give them the opportunity to share their ideas.
However, there's something new in BEST. There is this research and development working group. A wonderful opportunity for the organization itself, but also for very motivated besties to grow, to explore a very new way, a more structured way of growth. This R&D working group has certain benefits for the organization, but definitely also for you as individuals. Now, the last marketing officer, Matteo from LVG Delft, he has delivered a wonderful framework, a wonderful tool for us to do research and to do development in BEST. He created the market research framework, and it is based on his work together with the vice president for services from last year, Paulina, that it is on that work that we base ourselves today. Now, being part of the R&D working group means being in a central area of the organization. The R&D working group touches so many different areas, and collaboration really will be key. You will need to be in touch with different bodies, like Statistics Working Group, who will analyze the current state of the organization, but also regional advisors, different departments, programs, etc. The most important reason, I believe, to join the R&D working group is to get a chance to really make a change. You don't need to be an international body. You don't need to be a department coordinator or so to enact change. Any bestie that has the enthusiasm and the passion to work on one of these ideas and to implement it, those besties can really make a change, can make a huge contribution to the organization. And we will try to have those talents gathered in this working group. As member of the R&D working group, you will also function as an advisor for the decision makers, think for example about international boards, on different innovative ideas that have to be approved. It's also a wonderful opportunity to show your own creativity, to create your own ideas and present them to others. And of course, like most things in Best, you will gain a ton of new skills. The ability to analyze different services, take action on the analysis, to find, design new services and new changes to services, and all of that in a quite structured way. The R&D working group will work in three main areas. First one is market research. So everything related to getting to know our market better. You have discovered something, and then you want to get feedback from our stakeholders. There's also ideation and innovation. That's really the powerhouse of the R&D work group, really, where new ideas are created to fix problems, but also just to drive our organization to new levels. And then last part is data and service analysis, where we will analyze what we currently have in order to determine which next actions to take. Now, if you want to join this great initiative, this incredible initiative, then you can just do so. The call is out. We will also send a mail later on to make you fully aware of that. So that will be sent to LBG's at, and then you can just apply, indicate where your interests lie, what kind of experience that you already have, but definitely what kind of motivation that you have. And then we will gladly invite you among both of us to work together with you. That was it for this presentation. I'd like to thank you on my own behalf and on Anna's behalf for being here. And if you have any questions, then you can definitely ask them. For now, I can already share a wonderful mailing list that you can join. Name the mailing list that we will use to communicate on the Research and Development Working Group. Name the one for observers. It is free to join, and then you will get all the updates. And if you have any questions, let's hear them. I also see that Statis had a technical. My apologies, I didn't see that before. Is it still valid, Statis? Hold on. Okay. Are there any questions? Yes, Statis, go ahead.
Still, not everybody has filled the FPA form. Please do so. Thank you.
How do you dare? Anna, could you please share the form again? And then we have a question from Salvo.
Hello guys. In the news period in my LBG, we have a lot of enthusiasm and bad collaboration. I wanna ask you how to implement collaboration, enthusiasm in the new members in this period. For example, that all is done online. You cannot meet other people.
An interesting question. I think a question that most leaders in our organization are trying to answer in different LBGs, but also in different international bodies. I'm not sure if someone from the international HR team is present today because they are really the best people to ask that. I must say that I have limits in my knowledge, and that also these kind of it's a very hard question to actually tackle. Um, so basically, the question is then how to collaborate. Do you mean also with international bodies or mostly in your own LBG?
I think in my LBG for now. The problem is in my LBG because we have not so many not so many people. So everyone or every member is important for us. Collaborate with new members is very important for a new generation of besties, of local besties.
I'm sorry, I missed the first 20 seconds or so because I completely cut because of internet issues. My apologies. But I did hear the last part. So what I can advise you on a personal note is to what's important is to first get to know the other people, to discover their value, and then try to match their value, their interests, their passions to what we have to offer. It is my own personal belief that there's really something for everyone to be found in Best. There are so many different opportunities in so many different areas that I can't imagine that a STEM student can be part of Best and not find anything that really hypes him or her. So I believe that if you can take that as first step, that there can be a lot of value. And then once you have discovered what kind of interest that you have, then you can start creating those connections and start talking to other people to harness to harness that passion. But also in order to do so, it's important to know what's going on exactly. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. Being part of these kind of events really helps. Also, going through the struggle of reading mails. It might not be the easiest way, but it's an interesting way to discover opportunities. I hope that with that I was able to kind of answer your question. It was a little bit more distant from the R&D concept, but a crucial question nonetheless.
Okay, it's more clear. Thank you, Jasper.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions related to the research and development working group? Anna from LBG Madrid.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, when did you start with this working group? Because I think I didn't know, I didn't know the existence of this. So just to know when you started and how is it going and this.
Well, Anna, I have great news for you because by being here, you are one of the pioneers in this concept. So this is really something super new in Best.
Okay.
We are currently establishing the work group for the very first time. For the past, like especially last year, development was made in this area with the creation of the market research framework, but the real working group was never established, though a lot of conversations took place on the topic. But it's this year that we really try to start this very new thing. It's a very excited thing to
Okay, so you are recruiting people, right? To
we
start a
are.
working group.
Yeah. We are recruiting people, that definitely, but it's also to raise awareness about its existence because yeah, it is a new thing and people first need to get to know it in order to be able to fully use it.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Jasper.
Thank you very much for this question. you have questions, feel free to ask them. In the meantime, I will also use this opportunity to highlight the importance of filling in surveys. What you've seen now is a concept where that is heavily based on doing market research, on asking others why they think of certain ideas. For sure, in the future, we will start sharing a lot of different surveys to ask your input as besties, but also to ask the input from other stakeholders, the students at your university, your own university, or companies with whom you work together. It would be very impactful if you would notice these requests for input and share them with everyone you deem relevant. Because if all of us are going to do that consistently, then this working group will really become a huge success. That being said, I see that there's a question from LBG Istanbul. Yildiz.
Hello. If I missed during the presentation, please cut my question. I'm real curious about what will be the end goal of this working group. The end of the year, what are you planning to achieve? Do you have any concert outputs, or it is going to be developing and developing?
So that's actually the great question, by the way. One that's especially relevant to the vice president for projects, because we're here talking about the difference between a working group and a project. So when a project that gets established, that has a very clear goal. For example, public websites reconstruction project now, the end goal is to have the public websites reconstructed. For this, it's a working group. The aim is to have this continuous thing. So we will establish this year, but next year and the year after and the year after and the year after, this working group will keep on existing and will keep on performing its duties. So concretely, for this year, the working group will assist the organization in the development of different services. If you've read the annual action plan and then the action reports of BEST, you'll have noticed that with training as a service, with hackathons as a service, we have different services that we want to further develop, and then this working group could assist us in that. Cool. Any other questions? In the meantime, I get pinged by a lot of people saying that it is almost time. I believe that we won't cross that limit. If you have any more questions of this presentation, if you are interested in applying, but also just if you want to know more about the concept, you can always reach out to Anna and me. We can talk on Discord, we can talk on WhatsApp, on Messenger, on mail, whatever you prefer. That being said, I'd like to thank you for your attendance and your attention, and see you later in the next session, I suppose. If all of you stay, I'm also going to stay. Then we can learn more about what's the next topic? Online motivation weekend for dummies.
Yes.
Nice. Very nice.
I'm gonna share my the presentation. Where do I have it? Give me a second. Wait a second. Okay, can everybody see it?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Then we'll go ahead. So as you already probably know, we're going to be presenting how our online motivational weekend was, how we planned it, how it worked out, and overall just how it was. So how to organize an online motivational weekend and not die in the process. Well, first of all, my name's Dan, Danny, Daniel, whatever you prefer. I'm part of the Inglorious Board Sturds, the 25th board of LBG. And I'm the treasurer for the LBG. And well, I'll tell you what we did for our motivational weekend. So first of all, when we were planning the motivational weekend, we thought, okay, what are our goals? What do we want to achieve with a motivational weekend? And I think we can all agree that one of the three main goals are, well, recruitment to get more people into our LBG. Training, we want to train both our members and the new members. And we also want to work on team building. We want to be a team. We all want to be close together, be good friends, and we can get a lot of that during the motivational weekend. So, how do we achieve these goals before COVID-19? Well, it's a lot easier. It's easy to do it when you're in present, like in seeing other people. You can do recruitment in the university. You can do some nice training sessions, a lot of games and fun activities to work in that team building. But it also comes with some challenges, even without COVID. For example, logistics. You got to get all the food and all the stuff and get the place where you're going to be and all that. You have to survive your Madrid Cantus, which is a challenge in itself. And another really hard challenge is to stay awake with all the parties and fun activities and stuff. That it's, you gotta save some energy for the sessions and games. But what happens after COVID? Well, we can't do any of those things, at least the way we were doing them before the pandemic. So we have some of the same challenges and some are new. We have to work on our recruitment, our training, our team building, but also put some more effort on motivation, because since it's different and it's online, that's usually lacking motivation for people. You gotta choose a nice platform since you can't really talk to each other in person, and you gotta work on the schedule because that's gonna be different. And there's also one very big challenge: the fun. You gotta keep the fun in the motivational weekend. Sometimes it's kind of hard to do this, but it was our challenge, and I think we did pretty all right. In order to do recruitment and PR for LBG, we did some nice videos. I'm going to show you just 10 seconds of a video we worked on. We're very proud of this one. Well, and we won't show the whole thing, but I'm very proud of our design team for making this video. This helped us a lot. It had a lot of views on Instagram and I don't know if Twitter also, but a lot of people started, some people started asking us on our social media about BEST. And since this was at the beginning of September, we were already looking forward to the motivational weekend. So we told our new interested people about it so they would come and know our LBG better. Then we started the promotion for the motivational weekend itself. We also got a really nice video. I'm really proud of our design team. They do some really nice work. This was specific for the motivational weekend. Very nice. It was like 80s themed, as you can see, with this neon synth wave kind of theme. Pretty cool. So yeah, we decided the topic. This was pretty much the same as any other motivational weekend. Well, except the fact that we couldn't do physical promotion, like go to the university and put up a stand and tell people like, hey, we're best, we do this and that. So a lot of focus on social media, of course. And well, the things that we put the attention on were like, we're offering training that university doesn't, like soft skills, like complementary training, formation, and fun, where it's not just work and study and learning. It's also, we're going to have fun and you're going to get to know people. So those are the things that we focused on, so people would get interested. So another of the challenges would be the training sessions. And I have to say that this was not so much our thing, because the trainers did it, and we're very thankful. They already had some experience because of the Tigro quarantine event. So I guess they had some experience already. But yeah, as usually we try to, like I guess most LBGs think about this, we try to keep our training sessions useful for both the new people that have just joined the LBG, and also the veterans. We try to get sessions interesting for everyone. And well, since it's online, it's very, very, very important to keep sessions dynamic, because you can fall asleep at any time. You're at your house, you don't have people around you talking, so you gotta keep them active, make them dynamic. A good way to do that is use interactive tools. Our trainers use Miro. I guess most of you have probably heard about it by now or used it. It's a pretty nice tool, online, free to use, and it allows to participate, and everyone can work on something at the same time, brainstorm ideas. Pretty nice tool. And love the trainers. I have to say, this part, it was all on them, and they did a really good job. So thank you to all the trainers that have worked with us. Now, schedule. On the left, we can see the schedule we made for our motivational weekend, and on the right, what was the schedule for the same motivational weekend the year before, without the pandemic and the whole thing. It's a lot more simple, because since people are at their house and you can't be there guiding, and you want to make it simple, keep it simple, because we tend to get things mixed up, and I don't know what time this was, or I wanted to go to this session. So we try to keep it simple. And also, even though we ended up doing a lot of activities and sessions, we didn't want it to be too much, because you're at your house in front of a computer. So we didn't want people to stay 24 hours a day in front of the computer. So we want, like, that's why the breaks are kind of long. And this was what we did before the motivational weekend. So even afterwards, we think that it was maybe even a little too much. We should have made longer breaks, because you're not with people, you're at your house. It's kind of hard to stay in front of the computer. And even though you're talking to people and doing stuff all together, you're still alone in your house. So you got to give breaks. So yeah, try, if you do an online, well, as you're doing the PM right now, I think you're doing really great with the breaks. We went a little bit too much activities. Now, platform, quite a good question. Before we started doing the motivational weekend, we thought, okay, how do we do it? Where do we host this? And there's a whole lot of platforms to choose from. As you can see here, like Skype, Jitsi, Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, all that stuff. But we ended up choosing just two of those, which were Zoom, as we're using right now, because it's a pretty used platform, and Discord, like common platform. Zoom. The Tigro, like the guys from Tigro had already used it, so that was enough for us to know, like, okay, it works, it's good for online events. It's been proven over and over. We've been using it since this whole thing started, the pandemic started. So we trusted the platform. And since it's a little bit more formal, we associate it with school and like more formal stuff. We used it especially for the sessions. And it has a really nice tool or function, which is that you can split into smaller rooms, and that's always useful for an activity. So Zoom, really nice tool. Well, you can see here, we did like, this was our working group crawling. We did an activity where we presented the working groups, and each coordinator from each working group did a little activity. Like it could be a game or some brainstorm or a little activity, like short, to present their working group. And we did a bunch of different groups with the new people that just joined the LBG and also the veterans. And we would rotate, go through every single one of the working groups. And it was actually a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And I think it helped both the new people learn about what the working groups are and what they do, and also help the veterans know what the new coordinator for this year was going to do. So it was helpful for all of us. And Discord, we used a lot of Discord. I'm guessing a lot of you know Discord. It's been used for people like in video games and a lot of stuff for a long time, but now with the pandemic, even more. It's pretty informal. Like people usually associate it. Like for me, I used it only for video games and stuff like that before this whole thing. So you associate it with like more informal stuff and having fun. So this is the tool that we use for our get to know games, our parties, our server, our motivational weekend server, had a total of 78 members. I think it has 78 members right now. I don't know if that was like the at peak moment or right now. And well, you can also split participants. You can make a lot of different rooms and channels for voice chat, for like text chat, and you can add bots, which is really nice. Most of you know the best bot, the bestie bot, which helps you put people each in their room in like different, I don't know if the word is room in English, channels maybe, but you have a lot of bots that can like play music, give a point system to like give people points for stuff. Wonderful bots. I really know nothing about bots, but I know they can do a lot of stuff, and you can easily add them on Discord to your server, and they do a bunch of stuff that is pretty cool. For team building, well, first of all, since we had a lot of new people and a lot of newbies, we did a bunch of get to know games. Some of them we did on Miro. Miro, I don't know how to say it. And we shared like what each of us studies, our age, our interests, all that stuff. On Miro, it's very easy to write little messages, put them on a board. Very easy to do that on Miro. You also get a bunch of trolls drawing stuff, but I think you can block that if you're like the administrator of the board. So yeah, really fun tool. Then we did a speed dating. This was really nice. It really helped the newbies, the new people. I don't know if newbie is the correct word, but you know, the ones that had just come to the LBG. Because when you're in a big group in a bar, or I don't know, like in person, automatically people are going to form small groups and start talking about whatever, you know. Each little group will have their own conversation. You'll go from one group to another. But in online meetings or parties or sessions or whatever, you're going to have a lot of people in the same room, and you can't put one conversation over another because it's very uncomfortable. So what you get is only the veterans, or like people that have been there for the longest time, talking, and it's kind of hard to break the ice with the new ones. So what we did here is we made a bunch of smaller groups and a system for people to rotate from one group to another, so you wouldn't be with the same people. Well, sometimes you would maybe go with one person again, but most of the times you were with new people in each group. And in those groups, well, we had like cards with questions, like random questions. What's your favorite animal? If you had a superpower, what's your, I don't know, different things, just to get the conversation going and start talking. And it was a lot easier. Like the new people, that like the newbies, I don't know if the newbie is the right word. I'm going to use it. I don't know if it's offensive or something, but during the feedback, they said that they really like that, because when you're talking to just 2, 3, maybe 4 people, it's a lot easier to open up, break the ice, start saying, yeah, well, I like this, I like that. This is who I am. So really nice speed dating, really nice activity to get the newer people to warm up. And well, some ice breaking games that sort of the same, you know, get people talking, ask questions, make them speak up. We all know this, but online version, of course. And we move on to fun, you know, our parties, fun activities, social activities. What do we like? How do we do this online? Pretty hard to do this. So we had 2 days of parties, night activities, social activities, Friday and Saturday. On Friday, we did game night, but it wasn't like, okay, let's play a game of League of Legends or no, because that's not friendly for everyone. We wanted to, even though it's like video games, because we're going to be playing on our computer, we wanted to make everyone feel engaged and in on it. So what we did is make 5 teams, divided everyone into teams, make a name for your team, all that stuff. Those were our teams: Black Mojito, Los Confinados, the locked ones. I don't know, a bunch of teams, and we played a bunch of games. And those games, like the team that would win each one of those games would get a point, and at the end there would be like a winner team. It was pretty fun. We played a bunch of games that I highly recommend if you're going to do activities. Stats Kings, higher or lower. I don't know if you know it. You go into it's a website where you get a word or a couple of words, like a concept, and another one, and you get your first concept, and it tells you the number of Google visits that it's gotten, and you have to know if the other one has gotten more or less. It's pretty fun. A prop hunt, a treasure hunt in Krunker. I don't know if you know Krunker, but it's kind of like a shooter that looks like kind of like Minecraft, but you can make your own map. Actually, that GIF that you see right there is a place where we usually do our motivational weekends. And one of our members modeled that place into the game, and we did a treasure hunt in where we would usually do the motivational weekend. So it was nice for the new people to know the place and nostalgic for the veterans. It was really nice. Besties Against the World. It's like Cards Against the World, but we made our own deck of cards with like best words like Cantus, Centurion, I don't know, a lot of inside jokes, all that, and a bunch of games. It was really fun. Oh, got my phone. Yeah, so that was Friday night. It was really fun. Saturday, we tried to make it more like party room crawling. And the intention was to, with this logo right here is Watch Together. The intention was to have a Centurion going on during the whole thing. So even though you were doing a room crawling, well, every few minutes you would change song, take your shot, like a Centurion going while you were doing your thing. But we had some technical problems, so that couldn't happen. So it was just a room crawling, like with different games, but not games like the other one. We're like talking games, drinking games, stuff like that. Piccolo, Never Have I Ever, Ring of Fire, all that stuff. This was Saturday. Well, as you can see here, Ring of Fire, all that. Saturday got kind of out of hand. Even though most people say they liked Saturday more than Friday, it was kind of chaotic. It got out of hand, but people were having fun, and as long as they're motivated, anything will work out. So any online event, you got to work on motivation, work on getting people engaged, because even as I'm telling you, this got kind of out of hand. We like the activities didn't really work out, but people were having a lot of fun. They were just talking, going on different rooms on themselves. If you also set up a nice environment, it's really nice. But let's see the numbers. Let's see the numbers, the real thing, right? These are the number of attendance we had. We had a little bit of like most of our attendants were either full members or observer members. This is also because in our LBG, we don't have a lot of baby members. But a lot of observers, really nice numbers. I have to say that my personal opinion on this is personal. This is not, I think that it's that since a lot of like younger people that have just gone into university can't go to class or can't do a lot of activities, they were more open to do stuff that they didn't know because well, they didn't have that engagement by themselves. Yeah, and here's a schedule assessment we did in our feedback form. A lot of people thought that there were no time between different sessions and stuff, so that's a good point to take. Most people liked Saturday more than Friday, as I already told you. So now, shadow and lights and shadows, pros and cons, good stuff versus bad stuff. What we didn't like, and most people didn't like. Technical issues, as I said, on the Saturday's party, we were pretty slow when moving people from one room to another, and that made us lose a lot of time. Unpunctuality, this was quite the issue. We didn't start stuff on time, so it went on for too long. We really have to be more serious about that. I see that here in the P on the like during the president's meeting, you're being very punctual. That's very nice. We needed more people in charge of the sessions, especially for, as I said, moving people to different rooms or chats, being in charge that everyone was doing what they were supposed to do, because it's kind of hard to keep track of everyone. So have people be in like ready for that and doing that. Kind of goes the same to team leaders. If you're going to make team, make sure at least one person that team really knows the activity and knows how to move their groups from one chat or room to another, or one group to another. If you have people in on the games, it'll go a lot smoother. We didn't really have an official closing, which was wrong. Was just wrong because we didn't have it. Well, we also, the board had the like the JBT and all that, and it was kind of a mess. The Sunday afternoon was kind of a mess. We should have closed it right. And well, as I said, people responsible of changing rooms. That was a big thing because it takes a lot of time and can make the activity lose its like not dynamic. It can make it really slow. But things that really worked out. Be innovative, be creative, no problem in creating new activities. That was the best part. Activities that we didn't know, like the games, that was really fun. A lot of different activities. Awesome, that's also awesome. Helps keep the thing going, really dynamic. The server worked out really nice, the Discord server. Actually, right now we keep using, we made another server for LVG Madrid, but we use it a lot on a daily basis. There's always people there. Very nice to keep the engagement between members going on. Like people will just go there and chill until someone else connects. Very nice. Love the trainers, or as I already said, always love your trainers. No matter what, love your trainers. Our main organizers worked really hard, and that was a big part of the success of our motivational weekend. And our HR responsible was on point. She worked really hard on many of the games and made sure it worked out. And 85% of the observers that went to the motivational weekend are still active today and working hard in the LBG. So we take that as a win. We take that as a good news for us. And to finish, well, this is a picture of our board at 100% strength, and below I have a picture of a board at 99% strength. Thank you, Sandia. You worked really hard. You make this LBG stay afloat. And that's all, folks. Thank you all for attending. I'm sorry if I kind of sped through it, like went really fast. Didn't want to leave anything out, but if you have any questions, any commentaries, if my partners have anything to say that I left out, anything is welcome right now. Thank you a lot, people. And I'll stop sharing screen. Yeah, Andre from Bucharest. I think you have a question.
Hello. Yes. That was a great presentation. So we are organizing an online motivational weekend next weekend, actually. And my question is, can you go a bit more over how the social thing happened? Like, let's say Saturday, for example, when you said it was more chaotic. Like, what did people exactly do, and how did you manage to get them to have fun? Because I feel like this is maybe a bit more
yeah, that's an important part. Yeah, so we had some there were some like mini games. That's what the room crawling was about. Like mini games, like Piccolo. I don't know if you know Piccolo. It's like it gives you questions and like little dares to do drinking games. But the thing is, since we didn't have people to organize that and like be with each team and tell them where to go next or switch people from one team to another, it kind of got out of hand. People started changing rooms, and then you had one empty room and one with a lot of people. It got kind of out of hand. So if you want your thing to work out properly, like what you have organized, you make sure you have people trained for it, like team leaders that know where to go or know where to take their team. or luckily for us, it worked out fine. Like people had fun, but I think that's just because they were motivated, and like the activity that we had before was the working group crawling, which was really fun. You were changing rooms and meeting new people and doing new activities. So I think people were motivated. So I think that's a very important thing. And keep activities dynamic. That's important. Don't let people, you know, fall down and lose their motivation. I think that's what's important. I don't know if anyone else from Madrid, they can add anything if they think I'm not being correct or anything. Um, but yeah, it's that for us it was chaos because of the team leaders. We didn't really have team leaders that were ready for it, but there was enough motivation for people, and people were excited, and they were just talking, playing games that maybe it was a new game that they made up or whatever. So I have to say, luckily that worked out, but it's because of the people. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I don't know. Andre, I think you have another finger.
Yes. So okay, and did was it hard to get people to maybe drink or play stuff like Piccolo since they're at home, or not really because you're motivated from the start?
Um, People that wanted to drink drank, like they knew that before the motivational weekend. Like if you knew you were gonna drink, you drank. Like most of the new members didn't go hard on the drinking, but I think the get to know game from the day before worked really well as an icebreaker. So make sure new people feel comfortable from the first minute, like from minute one. Make them feel comfortable, and I think making small groups was a big success for that because they got to speak up, and well, of course, you got to be welcoming. But I think making new people feel comfortable was a good reason for that. And I'm gonna go with Istanbul. I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. Alp Emre. I don't want to pronounce your.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Uh, since the event took 3 days long, did everyone manage to participate in the 3 days, all 3 days, or did you lose some people?
We lost some people along the way. We lost some people along the way. Like not everyone was in every activity, but but sorry, I got lost in the chat. I think there was a lot of participation, but yeah, we lost some people along the way. Not gonna lie. But I don't think that I don't think it was really a noticeable amount. Also, some people, like as I said, I think we had too many activities. We forced people to stay too long on the computer, maybe a little bit too much. So maybe some people would go to like the morning activities and then miss one of the afternoon activities and then go to another one. Like people would just skip some of the activities because I feel like they were a little bit overwhelmed with computer time. So it's not like we lost people along the way as much as people skipped some of the activities. Maybe the first morning one because they didn't want to wake up. Oh, also, you can't wake up people in an online motivational weekend. Keep that in mind. You can't wake them up. And first activity in the morning is not going to have as much as attendance. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. Going back to the chat, which positions in the core team? That was a problem. We didn't really have a core team. We had our main organizers and our HR, Sandia. She was really on top of everything, but there wasn't really a core team, which we should have done with the team leaders and all that. So recommendation, my advice, have more than the main organizers. We had 2 main organizers, but have more people in charge of things because we thought since it was online, it was going to be very easy, but it wasn't that easy. I'm sorry if I go a little bit fast. I want to make sure I get all the questions. So if I don't answer any question or anything, just let me know. Our get to know activities. I'm thinking that what we could do is organize our material, translate it, because a lot of it is in Spanish, and we could send it to you, or maybe upload it to the PA. I think that would be nice, right? Okay, so I'm not gonna get into that. I think we can just summarize our material, upload it to the PA, and send you a link. Send all of you a link so everyone has access to it and it's public there. We just have to make it a little bit cleaner and English. Which positions? Yeah, as I already said. And oh, these are like repeated. One finger from Natasha Lakovic. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce it correctly.
Yes. I'm sorry, my camera doesn't work. I don't know why, and I'm sorry about that. I want to ask how many people would have to be in one room to have a successful party or good activity? And how many people participate at all?
But do you mean like in the big rooms or like the small?
No, when you have games, room crawl and something like that, when people are separated.
I think we had around 5 people. Can somebody from Madrid give me a thumbs up? I think more or less we used to have a 5 people per group, 4, 5, 6. But yeah, more or less. I would say 4 or 5 people is good. And try to make sure your veteran members are open and not like talking about inside jokes, but focused on the new people. I think we told our full members to do that. Like, hey, think about the newbies. Don't go hard on inside jokes and like think that you think it's funny, but a new person might not. Make sure everyone is thinking about the new people. Wait, I lost the chat. Sorry, I have to leave. How was the transition from Discord to Zoom? How was the transition from Discord to Zoom? We didn't really transition from one to another. It was usually one thing is like, let's say we have lunch. We have a session before lunch. Maybe our activity before lunch is on Zoom, but after lunch is on Discord. We had a WhatsApp group only where only the moderators could speak, which was the main organizers on the board. And we used it for announcements like, hey, we're starting in half an hour. We're going to do it in Zoom. Here's the link. Remember to bring a hat. I don't know. We used it for announcements, but each activity was in either one or the other. So there wasn't really transition from one to the other. What was the transition? Nice insights here. For get to know games in 5 to 6 in working groups, crawling and room crawling. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Sandia. It was around 4 people for get to know games. And for our working group crawling and room crawling, 5, 6 people, a little bit more. So to the question that you asked before, 4 people for get to know games and the rest of the activities, 5, 6.
Thank you.
And I think Andre has another finger. I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat. I don't know. What were you saying?
Me?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you have a finger. I don't know if someone else talked. I'm sorry. I go really fast. Yeah, Andre, yeah, your finger.
Oh, I was on mute. Okay. What we thought about, so we made the event mostly for this generation of observers and for the last one, the ones that joined in spring. And we have sent a form for all their members to see if they would like to come to trainings, because we were thinking maybe do separate trainings for them. Since it's online, maybe trainings are going to be more boring for older members. And most of them said that they didn't want to attend. So what I think we are going to do is have only the social part for older members.
So like no trainings at all.
For the older members, no. I mean, there were not very many positive answers to the form that they would like to participate in trainings. There's still time for them to complete. So if that turns out, we might have separate things, but this might be how we do it.
Yeah, well, I think you can try to, before we did the trainings, we looked at like what our members wanted to be trained on. Like, I think that's also important. Ask them, okay, if you wanted a training, what would you want it to be on? And also maybe you can look at other sessions. Like we did a couple of sessions that were neither training nor really fun. We did like a speaker's corner where anyone could present anything. That was fun. Anyone could do that. Or also we did one visual identity. It was just, let's talk about our visual identity of BEST in our LBG. Let's debate. Like it wasn't really a presentation. It was more of a debate. Hey, I think this. Hey, I think we should do that. Also, that's interesting. Maybe not a training session, but just a debate, open, open mic type thing. So yeah, you don't have to focus just on fun or trainings. Maybe there's something in between. And I think we're running out of time. Yeah, we already ran out of time. So any other questions you can send to Morales, to Miguel, because you probably have his number. Or also we could continue some other time on Discord. We have a really nice server, Madrid. I don't know if Richie's here. He's the father of our server and he really loves people joining it. So yeah, we can continue any other time. I'm sorry, I took a little bit too long. I'm sorry. So any other questions, or if you need any material or anything, talk to Morales, our president, and he'll tell the rest of us. Or join our Discord, which we will send the link for right now. Actually, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go get it right now. How do I share this? Okay, I don't know how to share a Discord server. I'm not the expert on this. Other people were. Oh, here. Okay, I'm gonna write it on the chat. So if you want to join our server, we are there anytime. And thank you, and sorry for taking a little bit too long. Thank you for staying anyways.
the new statistics working group coordinator, and you are an data analysis in BEST presentation. Uh, so let's share my screen with you. Okay, I'll just go to the right place and then share the screen. So, welcome everybody to data analysis in BEST. But before we get deep into what data analysis in BEST, what we do for data analysis in BEST or something, let's first just start a bit slowly and say what is actually data analysis and why is it important even. So basically, yeah, without data analysis, as Jeffrey Moore says very rightly here, without data analysis, organizations are kind of blind and deaf, which are like wandering into the open highway on the open road like a deer. And yeah, so which basically means that, yeah, if you don't, or if organizations, because so organizations generate a lot of data in their day-to-day life. Even in BEST, we generate so much data from our services, from the stakeholders that we provide services to, and from our members also. And if we don't make use of this data to make decisions or to make strategies for the future, we are kind of like that deer who's standing in the middle of the whole highway, and he's no idea where to go, and yeah, things could get pretty bad there. But before we go into, yeah, so the body that it works for this for yeah, doing data analysis or in West is called Statistics Working Group, SVG in yeah, for short. And let's first get into some statistics about this working group, what actually it is. So yeah, so it came into existence almost a little bit more than 2 years ago. So in July 2018, we currently have very few members, so 8 current members. Uh, yeah, we have like handled 40 requests, which is something quite small for a group that has been in existence for 2 years. But just imagine that it's started 2 years ago, and it's not like a full-fledged working group and stuff. So 40 is quite a lot already, and 40 successful ones. We have had a lot of more ideas, but they are like, you need time to do it. And the one statistic that I'm so proud of is that our mascot Owen has never been stolen in best events, which is a record kind of thing. Why will you ask? Because so it's like a backpack shape in the shape of an owl. So if you don't lose your backpack, you would never lose Owen. And then the question is, what does SVG actually do? Yeah, so basically we have like mostly these 4 functions. The first is LTSP analysis. So of course, when the LTSP, it deserves metrics, it wants metrics that that need to be there, and to get over it, and then to analyze if BEST is working accordingly, or if it's progressing in the right way. Yeah, then so these metrics we deliver. It's the SVG, it calculates these all, they compile all the data, and yeah, we deliver. Also help to international bodies in BEST. So for example, corporate relations department or public relations department, they want help with their data. They want to do some data analysis and some visualizations, or maybe they just don't know how to do some stuff, then they come to us and we deliver there. Also, we provide help to LPGs if they are facing some issues with their data, or something, or some project that they want to do with us. They can contact us all the time, and we will try our best to deliver there. But of course, we have a little bit less people, but so it could take some time, but we deliver there too. And also important thing, we deliver on bullshit statistics at every event that we are invited to. We provide those statistics, and people have a lot of laughs on that. So stay tuned for the end of PM's bullshit statistics. Here's an example of what we can do. Okay, it's not partner retention rate, but it's a mistake. But yeah, it's basically the success ratio in our corporate relations department. So basically, over the years, how successful has corporate relations department been in enticing companies and making sure that they become a successful partner of best. As you can see, it's hovered around the 2% mark for quite a few years. It went a bit up in 2017-18 season, but yeah. Now, how we do what we do, that's the next point. So data analysis, how do we do it? Let's look at it. So first of all, it's data gathering. As you can see, on the meme, it's the data that we have collected over, or that is there in best. It's stored in so many multiple ways, and that is, I think, a very big task that we need to do, is that we have to collect all of this data, try and find the right sources for it, and make sure that the data is in the right format, clean it up and stuff. So that's what I put under data gathering. And what are the sources of best data, where all we can find it. So you can find a lot of our data in the database, but also in a lot of other places. For example, Google Analytics gives us some data about our website and its performances. Or for example, social media, our social media channels, they have some data, of course, regarding our posts and all. Also, we get some data from external sources. And of course, there's a lot of data that is stored in the G Suite drive for our organization, but also, yeah, there's still some privately owned spreadsheets that we might need to access. And yeah, so that is kind of the distribution of best data. And what do we do with that data? We analyze that data and visualize that data. So as Mr. Gates say that when it comes to data analysis, we excel. And that is kind of a pun, because because so once you have collected the data, it's just basically numbers that is there. But unless and until you analyze it and visualize it, there is no benefit kind of just having the data. So for example, this here is an example of what we have compiled. So we have like voting results and financial reports for over the years, and through this we can see the general trend of how people are voting. And for example, here you can see in the April 12th season, here there's been a dip. So there was some issues cropped up, and just to see a trend that okay, it's going in a good way or not, that maybe whether we are getting better in financial reports or there has been some issues going on, so that we can, that information or that things that we can derive from these voting results. And the tools that we use, sadly or unfortunately, that's most of our data, since it's in the form of Google spreadsheets already. We have been using a lot like templates from Google spreadsheets that we created for ourselves to analyze and visualize this data. But we are slowly moving forward, and we are trying to explore other and modern data visualization and analysis tools, such as or maybe use some programming languages in the future, like Python or something, and of course SQL and stuff, so that we don't rely too much on Google spreadsheets and can do even crazier things with our data in the future. And before we say that we deliver, but the biggest question is, and that every data analyst should keep in mind, is whether you should follow the data blindly, or you should. But before following the data blindly, you should think about what it actually represents. And That is because, for example, a certain data shows you that yeah, this year, for example, for 29 for corporate relations, let's say 2019, it was, you were getting a lot of companies, for example, from the data from the number of companies converted. But and this year you get a dip. So instead, like, so you have to think that, okay, what were the reasons behind that dip before saying that, oh, they were doing a bad job maybe. But you know, like, we know right now that there was a pandemic, but maybe 10 years later, when people see it, and hopefully they still remember it, but maybe they see a dip and they say, oh, that year maybe CRD did a bad job. Or for example, when I was saying uh, about the financial report a few slides before, where it was like there was a dip. Which slide was it? Yeah. So here, as I was saying, like, there was a dip here. So maybe there were some reasons that we don't know yet, and that is something that we need to fill it up with before making any decisions. So that is why it is very important to not just follow the data, but also think about it, what the represents. And next, to the fun part of this presentation, we have fun with statistics. So here, what I want you to do, there will be three options. It's like a small quiz. So there will be three options, A, B, or C. So let's say A is yes. In your participants poll, participants box, B is no, and C is go slower. Let's see how many people can do know their best stats. And this is the first question. What do you think is the size of the entire best database? Is it A, 32 gigabytes, B, 128 gigabytes, or C, 1 terabyte? Imagine the size of the entire best database. Like it suppose like it spread over so many countries, so many years. 1989, we were, yeah. So yeah, just press yes for A, no for B, and go slower for C. A lot of people have not voted yet, maybe, and not found it yet. So if you haven't found it yet, it's in, when you click on your participants tab, you will find yes, no, or go slower there. Okay. Well, I see a lot of go slowers, a bit of 128 gigabytes, and very, very few 32 gigabytes. That's, well, let's see what the answer is. It is 32 gigabytes. But okay, this data is as of 31st of October. So there could be some things that went more, but it's just 32 gigabytes. Imagine like 80, like 30 plus years of data and just 32 gigabytes. Yeah. We will do better because a lot of our data is stored in other places or stuff, because yeah, you know, this, like the pictures and all, they are our data, but yeah, you know, it's not in the database, it's just numbers. So what's the next question? It is, what percentage of besties are also bodies currently? And the options are 5%, 8%, or 13%. So there are like a bit more than 3,200 besties in in the whole of and oh shit. Okay, hopefully not many people saw it, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, so let's see if people saw it or not. If you didn't, please didn't. But yeah, so like there are 3,000 besties, and imagine how many bodies there are, because usually in the board, on average, there are like 5 people in the board. And if you say for like 90 plus LBGs or observer groups combined, yeah, I did a bad mistake, but yeah, it's 13% of all besties are also bodies. That's a huge number. Like every 10th person you meet in best could be a body. Well, that is according to, of course, the private area data. So in private area active people, that is 13% of those accounts that I'm saying that are also bodies at this point of time. That's surprising, and that is something that you derive out of the data that you collect here. Okay, and now it's a training related topic. So what do you think was the most popular topic delivered in training since GA Ghent, which was in June? Yeah, so let's see. Communication, strategic planning, or facilitation. Again, ABC, it's yes, no, or go slower. Uh, usually the most popular training topics are the ones that are either in real requirement at the point, or they are kind of the basic ones because that everyone needs. So think about that. What could be the most thing that is or that people require the most, or maybe that is in need. So I see a tie between yeses and nos. Oh, now communication has got more votes. Anybody still thinking of voting? Just don't think, just vote. It's ABC. There are no points for wrong answers, or well, there are goodie points, statistics points for the right answer, but yeah, it's just statistics. Okay, so let's see. It was strategic planning. Well, because of course, because of the corona times and stuff, it's really right now really important that you focus a lot on strategy and for the next times. And that's why strategic planning was the most popular training, but communication was not far behind. So it was like I think 3 or 4 trainings behind, number of trainings behind, but that's, yeah. And now is another question about the median size of local base group. What could be it? Like, there are so many base groups, like 90 plus, and let's see how it's a statistics related question. So median is basically if you arrange all of the size of all base groups in a line and go in the middle and see what is at the midpoint of those. It's not the mean, it's not the average size, but it's the median size if you arrange them and see what is at the middle point. So A, 22, B, 31, or C, 45. And this could be a bit surprising to some people, but let's see. Maybe you know everything correctly. Oh, okay, I see 12 no's and 9 yeses. Let's find out. And you were right. It is actually 31. The average size is 37, but the median is 31. I prefer personally the median because it gives you an indication of what is actually happening instead of like relying heavily on the bigger base groups to add more to your value. So median is that's why I preferred a median here. But that's statistics related questions, So you should have expected if you come into data analysis session. And yeah, and next question is, so the best help desk is something that I think you all know, but it is something that if you have some issue, you just go to the help desk and ask a question. So it has received a total of 29,260 requests since its start. But how many do you think still remain open to this day? And again, it's over a period of I think a lot of years. So it could be that a lot of requests were not resolved or something, and they were just, sometimes it gets too much to handle. So A, B, or C? Is it 106, 1,132, and 2,191? You might just keep in mind that 29,000 were submitted over, I think, 8 or something years. So just imagine how good our help desk is actually. Just think. They are doing a really great job, but still, the numbers are too much sometimes. Okay, I see it's a distribution kind of thing. So 6 people say 106, 2 say 1,132, and 10 say 2,191. Well, you are up for a surprise here because it's just 106. And over the past days, it even went even down. So yeah, good job, help desk. You're doing like really, really great, and people are getting to getting help from help desk, and yeah, and so it's going great. And that's it. If you want to have even more fun, join us. You can subscribe to the observers mailing list for statistics working group here, or there's a new members call coming up, which should be open if everything goes right tomorrow, and you can maybe become a part of the statistics working group and have even more fun. So yeah, thanks for the attention, and I'm open for questions. Let's see. If anyone has any questions, I think they can unmute themselves and just say it, or maybe write in the chat. Oops. Yep. Let me see the chat. Okay, now I'm in the chat. Oops, there is one request for everybody. Just 1 second. Okay. No, why can't I? Okay, I will just copy this thing here and then just tell it. Yeah. So this is the link to the Google Doc for purposes of for the FPA grant. So can everyone please attending it, please, yeah, please fill this form right now. Yeah, and okay, so let me just go to the questions firstly. What features do you want visualized, or what do you prioritize? Features in the sense, can you, well, I think you can unmute yourself, LBG tells me hi, or let me find you. Can I get a clarification here? Yep. Okay, yeah, Aachen? You had also have a question, LBG Aachen?
Yes, I have also one question. Like you, from your working group, can you give some specific examples? What kind of requests are these?
Yeah. Just a second. Yep. So the requests can be varied. Depending on the situation. For example, a bunch of our requests are from basically the international board. So basically, it could be something like you have to calculate statistics for this part of the LTSP, that to calculate let's see if the goal that they set in the LTSP, if it's being followed, or yeah, if they're achieving the targets that they set out for. For example, it's written in the LTSP that they want to continuously improve the corporate relations stuff, corporate relation improvements. So that statistics that you can compile, or for example, there are statistics also coming from the marketing officer, or the for example the public relations department, where they want to see what's happening with their social media reach, or whether people are actually getting to know more, like, or if it's improving, if the people are getting their if yeah getting their answers met there, or if we are able to convey our message in a good way to our stakeholders. So it's a whole lot of variation. Also, what we provide is we try and we try and do yeah, okay, that's one something that I need to do, but sorry, I have to cut it short because yeah, we have to do one more thing. So let's just answer. Let me quickly answer the Delft question. If you have a bunch of data, what columns in Excel do you consider most relevant? Well, it depends on what data you are considering. For example, if for example, for social media, if you can see that one column has the number of followers, but this could or could not be one of the good things for you, that the number of followers are increasing, because uh, depends on what type of followers are increasing. If it's your, for example, in Best, if it's just your members that are following you more and more, then it's not really a good way to measure things. But for example, if you can find what percentage of those followers are actually your stakeholders, external stakeholders, then that could be more useful, more interesting something. So that is something that, yeah, that is relevant for me. But so sorry, we have to close it because there's another session next after it. But if you have any more questions or something, you can always you can always contact me via email, or join the statistics working group observer mailing list. Or also right now, I think I'll be live in Discord, so let's meet there, and yeah, let's have some chats there. Discord link is, one second, I have to find it also, but let's me see. uh, okay, can anybody else send it, or I think to search for it a bit. Give me some seconds, sorry. It's loading. This is the Discord link, and it is we collaborate with, of course, most with IT department because of our data sets and stuff. So of course it is IT department and also the board, a lot with the board. So thank you everyone for attending the session, and hope you have a nice evening. And yeah, see you, all of you, in Discord, or if you want any questions, just contact me personally. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everybody. I am Lizzie. I am from LBG Tallinn, and I am here to present you mental and physical health in youth NGOs. And unfortunately, since this is a very, very broad topic, and what I'm going to talk about today is only the tip of the iceberg, I am mostly focusing on mental health in this session. So first up, I would like everyone to think a bit what they think is mental health and how it affects them, or how, for example, it has affected them in their day today. And to help you a bit, by definition, mental health is something that is our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. And obviously, it affects everything around us. It affects how we see the world. It affects the decisions we make daily. And mental health is something that is not static, and it can be described in different spectrums. Here I have brought out some more specific ones. For example, stress, mood, attention, and thoughts. But there are many more. You can, for example, communication or appetite, even if you go into very much specifics. But what is about these spectrums is that most of the time we are in the middle of them. So, for example, in the stress spectrum, we are usually either calm or ready for something. Mood is usually average, and so on. And obviously, since things happen in our lives, we move also on the spectrum. So, before an exam, you're anxious, or before a best event, you're really energetic, and that is completely normal to move in the spectrums. But when we get stuck on the extremes, for quite some time, this is when mental health problems start and mental illnesses and disorders start. So that would be one way to define them, is that mental illnesses and disorders are extremes of different spectrums. Again, for example, on the mood spectrum, depressive, sad is obviously depression, but depression is not just being sad, it's so much more, but I'll talk about that a bit later. And here, for example, attention is one thing. You can be hyper-focused on something, but you can also have focus issues. Here, a good example is actually bipolar disorder, where people go from one extreme to the other constantly. So this is, again, something that is a mental health thing. So what affects our mental health? Obviously, like I mentioned before, the world around us. From negatives, we can bring out genetics that play a huge part, the environment we live in, the environment we have grown up in, relationships we have with people, different illnesses, drug use, nutrition is very important. And here is when your physical health also comes to play. When your physical health is okay, your it also affects your mental health better. But when you have issues with your physical health, it also negatively affects your mental health. So unfortunately, they are connected. Loss and trauma, abuse, poverty, stress is probably one of the biggest influences for us as students that affects our mental health. And of course, wars and catastrophes. And I have brought out specifically COVID-19 here. The fact that we are currently in the middle of a worldwide pandemic has 100% affected each and all of us, more or less, even if we think it hasn't. And it has placed more stress on our daily lives. And I feel that sometimes people might have forgotten that. But there are also positive things that affect our mental health. Every coin has two sides. Having self-confidence, being resilient, having good stress management, different problem-solving skills, also flexibility, one of our values. Also good communication skills. And this also means about asking for help when you need this and being able to communicate how you feel to other people, so they know that you need help or you need a break at least. Also, feeling of belonging, physical activity, like I mentioned, physical and mental health are very closely connected, and moderate physical activity can do wonders for your mental health. And this doesn't have to be something like going to the gym every day. Just turning on your favorite music and dancing in your room counts as physical activity. That is it's proven to lift your mood at least a bit. Also, safety, education, and career satisfaction. I, for once, always when I go to best events, I get this huge motivational boost. So educational satisfaction, and of course, doing whatever makes us happy, our different hobbies, and so on. Now, one topic that I want to specifically focus on is stress, burnout, and depression. And I'm going to start with stress and burnout. And this can be described by this graph that you can see here of performance and stress. And this has been divided into 4 zones. Underload, which is where we have barely any responsibilities and we feel very relaxed or even passive. Moderate, overload, and burnout. The ideal place to be is the moderate zone. This is where we are, where we have the best performance. But if we take on too many responsibilities, if we don't handle our responsibilities well, our performance starts to drop and we move into overload. And in the beginning, we may just be tired. Obviously, as students, we are constantly tired, but we have to notice from when the tiredness becomes exhaustion. And exhaustion means that different everyday things like taking a shower, eating, getting out of bed are getting more and more difficult. And maybe you can have a good night's sleep, 8 hours, but you still wake up and you don't feel well rested. And from exhaustion, it is also a quick road to having different negative emotions. You're going to feel anxiety, or you may be angry at yourself that why can't I get my shit together? And if you don't do something about it, if you try to push it all down, you're eventually going to reach a breaking point, and that leads to burnout. So I would like everybody to take a moment and think about which zone do you think you are at the moment. I personally think that I'm in the moderate zone. Obviously, I am tired. We are having PM at the moment. I have school and so on. But in the mornings, I do feel well rested, and I don't find it difficult to concentrate on things. I don't find any difficulty doing things I enjoy. So I consider myself to be in the moderate zone. Now, for those who put them in the overload zone, this is what to do if you think that you have too much stress. So the first thing is that you need to notice your stressors. What can you change? And also notice your reactions, how you feel, acknowledge your feelings and why you should feel, and maybe even how you think you should feel in this situation. A big part is also acceptance, understanding that you have a problem, understanding that you have difficulty, maybe performing to your standards or somebody else's. But again, first step to accomplishing any, to get over any problem is recognizing that you have one. And also self-care, give yourself a damn break sometimes. And for those of you who said that, didn't say, but think that they are in the overload zone, here's a small exercise that you can do. I'm trying to get these slides on the PA as well, so you don't have to screenshot it now or write it down. I think you can just go check it later. But just write down all the tasks that you have that come to mind and see if there's anything that you can cut or delay for a week or two. And it's basically from the beginning, you have to Just write it all down as it comes to your head. You don't need to structure it or anything, just write them down until you feel you have nothing else to put on paper or in a Word document. And then you can start structuring them if you feel that it helps you. And so you can see what you can delay or cut. And delay does not mean that, okay, from 2 weeks and now I'm going to put extra effort into this. No, the whole thing is getting delayed. And ask for help and take a small break. Have yourself a lower workload and focus on your health and well-being first, because as you could see, if you don't deal with the stress, your performance keeps decreasing. You're finding it more and more difficult to accomplish whatever you wanted to do, and you may burn yourself out. So it is better to delay things in the beginning for the sake of your health. No grade, no project, no organization is worth your health and well-being. And now the last topic I'm discussing is depression, which I don't think people know what really means. So it can be described as different, maybe just like a fog or a monster that constantly follows you around and puts you down. I put this here because I think this is a very good visualization. But the thing that we see about other people being depressed, or we see from the media, can only be the tip of the iceberg. Generally, depression is being sad or withdrawing from things, changing appetites, struggling to get out of bed, and so on. But it's so much more. And depression, people can be depressed and you may not notice it outside because they still do their tasks, they still go out and so on. They still put on a smile and say they're fine when you're asked how they are doing. But what you don't see is how they might be feeling inside. And when we go to severe depression, when we like reach the burnout and can't get out of bed anymore, most of it, what you feel is actually nothing and emptiness and apathy for the world instead of sadness. But also all those negative emotions, sadness and loneliness and shame and self-hatred are also there. So what can we do? This is not the bend. Depression is an illness that can very successfully be cured. And also all those other states of mind that I described previously. So first up, you don't have to do anything by yourself. You are allowed to talk to people, you're allowed to ask for help, and you're allowed to take a break. And lastly, I have put here some resources, since again, I did not have much time here. So there are so many good TED Talks about different mental health issues. I brought out specifically the general mental health tag and the depression tag that they have. And they are usually like 15 to 20 minutes long. There is also a YouTube channel and a website called Psych2Go that has shorter videos, 2 to 5, again, about different mental health topics. And there is also a Polish filmmaker, Katarzyna Piorkowska, who has different beautiful videos about different mental health disorders and illnesses. There's also a website that focuses on dealing with depression stigmas, and how to get out of depression, which is the Depression Project, which I have also linked here. And the last thing is NHS, which is British National Healthcare, I think, mood self-assessment form, which is something that you can use to analyze your past 2 weeks and see if you are at risk for anxiety or depression. And it's a self-assessment form. It is not a diagnosis. It says there as well. But if you are struggling to understand where you stand at the moment, this can help you clear some things up. And of course, talk to your friends, be open about your struggles, and also check your university resources, because they often also have psychologists to help. And now I give the word to Aram to talk about our Safe People project a bit.
Hello, people. This is Ram from, let's say, Safe People Project. And this year, you know that we are also focusing on the safe environment of our organization. So it's one of the topic that we have to focus as mental health, because we know that many things can be like can affect us. So this year we will be focusing. Yeah, I have 10 minutes. Thank you. This year we will be focusing on creating a self, like let's say the comfort zone, because in the comfort zone you can like feel free to state your opinion and also maybe act like as you are. So the Safe People project also aim to um, how can I say, like comfort zone, which you can focus on your mental health as well. So this is basically the description of the project, and like more of the details will be come to your inbox soon, because the call will be out soon. So if you have any question about the Safe People project, we can talk about after it in the Discord as well. So let's give it the word to the Lizzie again.
Okay, so I was basically finished. This was the last thing. And now, if you have any questions. And as I understand, this is something that you might find it difficult to ask a question about in front of everybody. I am also going to be on Discord after this session for around an hour, so you can approach me. And you can also always ask me in WhatsApp. Okay, we have Belin.
Thank you very much. So I just wanted to ask about the meditation. You didn't mention it in the presentation, about how meditation could affect us, our way of thinking, and so on. Do you think it is like safe to meditate?
Yeah, definitely. So there are a lot of things here that I didn't mention. This presentation is a recap of a 14-hour session I attended. So it was I had to leave out quite a lot. But meditation is very good if you know how to do this. And here's maybe another resource that I just remembered that I didn't add in the slides, but I can add it in I can add them later. There is this Australian nonprofit that has created a free meditation app, which is very useful if you want to get started by it. And this is also something can help you tremendously, especially if you struggle with anxiety. So yes, there is also a reminder to fill in the FBA form. I see that we have the link, so please go and do that. And LBG Thessaloniki.
Hi. So if we notice that someone maybe has a mental health issue, what should we do as his or her friend?
Go and ask them directly. And maybe phrase the question by starting with that I care a lot about you, and I have noticed that in the past few days, maybe you might be having some difficulties. How are you doing? And how are you really doing? So the best way is to ask them directly. I believe you can also ask Ilham about the Safe People project, although we have International Rally tomorrow, but you can use the chance right now. But if I see no more additional questions, then thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And go and have a good night's sleep, because that is very important for your mental health. And I am finished.